welcome back. This is Carol Green and we are back at Tatanka Bison Ranch. I am so excited to be cooking here because the bison on this ranch is amazing. I'm here with Fred, the rancher. Hi Fred.
Good afternoon, Carol. Great to have you back down here in York again.
Thank you for joining me. So Fred, I wanted you to join me to tell me how I should cook a steak. What is the proper way to cook a bison steak?
Well, let me tell you first a little thing about the bison. Bison is inherently a lean meat.
Yeah.
Especially our bison meat, which has been finished 100% on grass. It's hormone-free, no antibiotics. And this meat is about 98% lean.
98%
Yes.
lean. That is amazing.
Right. Bison meat versus beef, very little marbling inside the muscle. Most of the fat on bison is around the outside. It's one of the reasons why these animals are so powerful, because they have very lean muscles.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. So you told me something about salting meat, right?
Right. I personally, whether it's my burgers or steak, I always put my salt on afterwards because salt draws the moisture out.
Salt draws the moisture. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay to do it right before we cook it, right? But not long in advance.
No, I put it on afterwards.
You put it on
That's my
afterwards?
own personal
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And the T-bone has the tenderloin over there, and then on the other side you have the ribeye.
So, you know, coming from South Africa, a T-bone is a steak that we're very used to. So I'm just going to brush my steak with a little of my melted ghee and coconut oil instead of brushing my pan, because I find that way I avoid a lot of smoking, you know?
And the same on your grill as well.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah, brush the meat, not the grill. Woo! That's a beautiful sound.
Good looking steak.
Good looking steak, yes, absolutely.
Now the other thing with bison also, Carol, is that other than the fact that it's very lean, it's very high in protein compared to beef, pork, fish, chicken. Has very high protein, very low in cholesterol, very low in fat, very high in iron, which is the #1 deficiency in American diets these days.
Yeah.
And the other thing is also very high in vitamin B12 and omega-3 acid, except for salmon, which we know, of course, is very high in that.
Right, right.
Bison comes in the second.
But also the taste. I've eaten bison before, but I found that your bison tastes different than bison that I found in the regular supermarket.
And the difference being is that most bison meat that you buy these days in the stores and even the health food store have been finished on grains.
Right.
So when the animals have eaten grass, like you see behind us here, okay, you have a lot more keratin in the meat, and it has a more distinctive natural flavor versus the animals that have been finished on grains.
This is quite a steak. I'm even backing to pick it up. Wow, it's looking beautiful.
1.5 pounds T-bone steak.
1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Amazing. So where can the public find your steak? Where can they buy this?
Right now we are Saturday mornings with the Charlotte Farmers Market
On Yorkmount Road?
on Yorkmount
Yeah,
Road.
okay.
We're there every Saturday morning, or most Saturday mornings, from 8 to 2. And then we'll be opening the ranch in June, the second weekend of June. We're part of the York County
The Ag and Art Tour.
Ag and Art Tour.
Is this one ready to turn?
You're the chef.
I think so. I think we'll give it a sear on the other side now.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Look at that beautiful caramelization. This is looking fantastic.
Turn the camera.
Beautiful.
Now, you'll also find that bison will cook about 1/3 of the time less than beef.
1/3 of the time less.
That's an insulator, so your heat's going to go cook faster through the bison meat. Great thing is it stays more moist because you're not cooking for so long, and the nutrients aren't exposed to the heat for such a long time. So you're retaining more nutrients in the bison for the lesser time you cook it.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm excited for the steak.
And never cook your bison past medium.
Right.
Okay.
No.
That is just.
That's a travesty.
Yeah.
The steak looks fantastic.
Ah, Carol.
Does it smell amazing?
Making me hungry. Just the time for lunch today.
So Fred, this steak is still very rare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it off onto this beautiful heavy wooden table, and I have another smaller lodge here, and we're going to make an amazing sauce to go with our steak.
Well, I'm going to get out of your way and move over here.
Thank you. And I'm going to make you a sauce. I find with venison and bison is slightly gamey, but not that much, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I've never really thought it being gamey.
Right.
Yeah. Just remember, it's basically America's original red meat, and they the same structure as cattle. So.
But I think a sauce with a little bit of sweetness in it.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yes. So these are prunes.
My favorite.
Or plums, as a lot of people call them, plums. And we're going to be pairing it with a red wine reduction, just red wine that I boiled down, balsamic vinegar, shallots, and rosemary.
The whole plant.
No, I'm going to chop up the rosemary. Okay, so I think we've got some good heat going on there. Bit of our cooking fat.
That's ghee and
Coconut oil. Ghee and coconut oil, because it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn so much.
good thing to know. Crank it up.
So this is going to take about 10-15 minutes on medium heat, and we're going to just let those get sweated down a little bit.
Okay.
You can't hurry love or onions.
No, I love wine. With love and onions.
So now that the bison steak is off the heat, I'm going to season it.
Wow, still searing.
Still searing. And I'm just going to put some of this Great Plains bison rub. Give that a smell. Cumin, black pepper, some garlic. It's a wonderful blend.
And this.
A little bit of salt.
Yeah, this is the point that I always add my salt. Yeah.
It looks fantastic. So I really love to cook with fresh herbs. We say the H in South Africa, right?
Right.
What's up with that? There's an H there,
Yeah,
say it.
it's spelled this way, yeah.
So what I like to do in the beginning of the season in the spring is go and buy whole plants and plant them in pots in my garden or inside the house, and then I have herbs for the whole season. Rosemary, I had a rosemary bush, but it got really huge, so it had to get moved out. But rosemary is a really wonderful plant to have in the garden because mosquitoes don't like rosemary. It's a great mosquito deterrent. And rosemary actually is a wonderful herb for memory. Helps to increase memory.
I guess I can eat a lot more of this.
So I'm just going to chop a little rosemary.
Nothing like fresh rosemary.
Wonderful herb. Deglaze the pan a little bit to stop this from burning. Fred, cooking is about connecting people and connecting families and just enjoying the process. And it really bothers me that so many people seem to view cooking as a chore. So what are we hoping to do with the show is bring people back to the table and to enjoy the process and appreciate where the food came from.
Well, and for me, it's relaxing.
Yes, for me too.
Especially at the end of the day, I've had a crazy day. And some of these recipes that you've got are pretty quick and easy.
Yes.
Or can be prepared beforehand.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lot of achievement or gratitude, in what doing it yourself versus buying it pre-packaged. Now, of course, I understand a lot of people can't do it. But to me, it's just a relaxing thing to do. And I like to experiment as well.
Yeah? What do you like to make?
I really believe it or not, I'm not a huge meat eater.
Really?
No. Bad fish, chicken. I eat quite a lot of vegetables as well. I spend a lot of time at the farmer's market, so I'm always getting fresh things there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Produce which is grown locally, which is so full of vitality and nutrients because it's so fresh.
Yeah. That, and being local, supporting the local farmers.
Yes.
It's like people supporting me down the farmer's market.
Yes, well, that's what I'm all about with the show. Yeah.
It's all local, Local is best.
Support the farmer, because if you don't, they won't be there.
That's
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And your local farmer has a much smaller carbon footprint in terms of stuff, doesn't have to travel across the country.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So I think these shallots are looking nicely, they're looking softened down. Yep. So now we can start building the layers of flavor of the sauce. And I do realize this sauce, if it's end to end, is probably going to take about 15 minutes to make. Maybe it's a tiny bit more effort, but to dress up a special steak, it's really worth it. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to add a little bit of acid and deglaze the pan. And I start with a little balsamic vinegar, good quality balsamic vinegar. Oh yeah, I love the sizzle.
The smell of balsamic vinegar in the kitchen is always...
So I let the balsamic basically cook off to a syrup, which it does, as you can see, almost instantly. And the next thing I'm going to put in is a red wine reduction, and this is just red wine that I put in a pot and simmered down by half. You could use just normal red wine as well, but it speeds up the process to use a reduction. Oh yeah.
Having fun.
Having fun. Cooking is fun for me. And now we're going to add in some bone broth, beef bone broth, which has...
Should have used bison beef broth.
Well, I'll take some bison bones home and make some.
The big thing is with bison bones, they're 10 times harder than beef bones, so it takes a lot longer to actually get everything out of the bones.
I'd be curious what the mineral profile is of bison beef bones as opposed to beef bones.
No idea.
Yeah? Fred, look at that. It's already reducing down and the shallots are softening. Isn't it looking amazing? So now I'm going to put the plums in.
Hurry up, I'm getting hungry.
You're getting hungry?
I know good food takes a little while.
It does, and you know, the sauce takes just not that long, just a couple of minutes. I think we can add a little more liquid to the pan. And we can...
How long are you going to keep that going?
About another 5, maybe 6 minutes, and it will be ready.
So you're keeping the prunes whole, they're not going to cook.
We're going to keep them whole, so they've got a bit of integrity to it, but they're going to release their sweetness and their yumminess into the sauce.
Okay.
Okay, isn't it looking amazing?
Yep.
So I'm going to thicken up the sauce, and without using any kind of a starch, I'm going to just stir in a little butter. Normally if you whisk in butter, you get what's called an emulsification. But I find if I just take small pieces of cold butter and I just kind of stir it in, the sauce does start to thicken up and emulsify and hold together, and it also gives it just a wonderful, luxurious silkiness.
Learn something new.
We hope we're inspiring the viewer at home to make this amazing meal. That is looking gorgeous. So I can turn that heat off. And Fred, I'm going to have you do the taste test for seasoning.
A little more pepper.
A little bit more pepper?
Yeah, a little more.
Okay. And salt, are we good with salt?
Also a
little salt.
Yeah.
There we go. Beautiful. Let's serve it up. So what I have here, I roasted some vegetables. I've got the acorn squash, the butternut squash, and this is fennel and red pepper. And I just put them onto a roasting pan with just barely a little bit of ghee, which is clarified butter, a hot oven, a 450 oven. And I turned it once or twice to check it didn't burn, brushed it around. It took about 25 minutes total.
25 minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I'm going to do kind of a sort of a salad, but room temperature roasted vegetable salad, which I think the earthiness of this will go well with the meatiness.
Really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make a beautiful plate.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I'm going to watch.
So I'm going to put down my beautiful steak. Look at that. Whew. That is just gorgeous.
That's a real man-sized steak.
So here I have from Tiki Hill Farms in TKK, the hydroponically grown lettuce, and I've just got some of the red oak leaf lettuce and some arugula, some various things. We're just going to use this as a base for the roasted vegetables.
Eat with your eyes as well.
Eat with your eyes. Doesn't it look fantastic? So excited for this plate. So excited for this plate.
I've never seen one of my steaks so beautifully presented.
Oh, this makes me happy. Food makes me happy. How does that look? Another piece? I think we're good.
One little highlight there, yeah.
There we go. And then some of these wonderful fennel and red onions. You know, I like to use onions, Fred, in a lot of dishes because onions are actually a wonderful anti-cancer food.
Well, that and
yeah.
I just love onions.
You do?
You know,
And I like fennel as well because the licoricheness of the fennel goes very well with meaty dishes. Look at that.
Looking forward to trying that.
Yeah. And now we have Cue the Angels. We're just going to put just a tiny bit of this. It's just olive oil and balsamic. I'm just going to drizzle a tiny bit over the veggies. And now we have our fantastic plum sauce, prune sauce, which is just beautifully glossy with the butter that we added in. Ooh, la la. Wow. Are we excited for this plate or what?
And none of this was really complicated.
No. Good food does not have to be complicated. And we really want to show families that you can do this. You can make these meals at home. You want to give it a try?
I'm dying to try that steak.
What are we going to cut this with?
Well,
You got a knife? Awesome.
Every good farmer rancher has a knife.
Alrighty.
So I'm going to borrow your fork. All right. Let me cut into this part. Beautiful, Carol. Do you like to try a bite first?
No, you go. You have a bite. Perfect. You like the sauce? Awesome.
Great. It's actually gone into a little bit into meat, and it's just good. And it has a nice caramelized flavor on that meat as well. Great job.
I thank you. I think the rancher is happy.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on this episode, and we hope to see you again for more amazing farm to table dishes. I'm Carol. Till next time. Bye bye.